evidence that there's a divine architect of the universe. And if there is a divine architect of the universe, we know one thing for sure. He doesn't build staircases that lead to nowhere. So I see a staircase that looks like it's going to nowhere. Well, that's because I don't see far enough. I don't see the rest of the story. Now, we do know that some pain has a good purpose. For example, a warning pain. If I get a sharp pain in my chest, that's a good pain. It reminds me I better go to the doctor. I might be having a heart attack. If I get a very sharp pain in my tooth, I better go to the dentist. Otherwise, I'm going to get a painful extraction from my pocketbook as well as my mouth, because I probably need to have the tooth pulled. What about a pain in the lower right side? Maybe your appendix burst. You might want to have it checked out because you might be dying within a short time. These are good pains, they're warning pains, and they tell us what we ought to do. So we all know there's some good to pain and some purpose in pain. In fact, we learn more through pain than we do through pleasure. I take a survey all over the country and I ask the audience this: how many of you learned some enduring lesson in life through pleasure? Very few people. How many of you learned some enduring lesson in life through pain? A lot of people. I did. I've almost died 7 times. One time I was dying, lying in the hospital, dying of hepatitis. One nice thing about looking on your bed, lying on your back, is you can only look one way, up. And believe me, when you're lying on your back and you're dying, the guy next to me was dying. The radio came on and Senator McCarthy died of hepatitis, so it was not a cheery day for me. And believe me, I learned more through that experience than I did all the pleasures that I've had in my life. Why? Because you don't learn many enduring lessons through pleasure. Most of them are learned through pain. C.S. Lewis has this gem in his book, The Problem of Pain. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. It's his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. And he was once an atheist and reasoned his way from atheism, from the problem of evil, back to God. Now I can verify this. You're lying on a beach, the breeze is blowing through the palms, and God is whispering, it's great to be alive. You're buzzing down a road, 75 in a 65 zone, you see a red light in your mirror and you feel a little knot in your stomach. That's called conscience, a little louder. God speaks in our conscience. You're lying in the hospital dying. You're all wound up in bandages. God's shouting in our pain. I was lying in the hospital west of Asheville, over by Junaluska, dying of sepsis several years ago. Sepsis, not a good thing to have. About half the people get it, die on the spot. I woke up in the ER room. There's 2 things you don't want to hear in the ER room. Oops, or oh no. Well, I woke up in the ER room, vomited up blood, and the doctor said, oh no. He knew what that meant, and I was dying. But God speaks to us in our pain. God teaches us lessons we couldn't learn any other way. Even some pain that has no purpose in itself can be a byproduct of good purpose. This deals with the problem of what's called gratuitous evil. Are there any things that don't have a direct purpose themselves? Yes, but they have they're a good byproduct of a good purpose. For example, the blacksmith is using his anvil and sparks fly from it. He's trying to make a plow so the farmer can plow the field and get food, feed his family and others. But a spark flies, hits the dust, and burns down the building. That's a bad byproduct of a good process. There are a lot of things in life like that. They're good processes, but some of them have bad byproducts. In war, we call those things ancillary. They're different. They're subject to the process itself, but they're not the direct result of the process. They're only a byproduct of the process itself. Note, in each case, there was an overall good purpose in which there was an evil byproduct. So a good physical world like ours, with good processes geared to good purposes, can have evil byproducts, which in themselves are not good. This happens in war, when innocent people are killed, when they're not the direct object of the action that is necessary to take. It happens in a hospital when doctors make mistakes. It happens many times in life when we have a good thing that we have, water to enjoy, the water ski to swim on, and people can accidentally drown in it. This is a finite world in which things like that can and do occur. What God does through allowing suffering. Joseph had it right in Genesis 50. His brothers had sold him for dead, and he's saving their life, and he said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." So even some of the evil that is intended as evil has a good byproduct, namely the saving of many lives. The cross itself was a great evil, but look at the byproduct of the cross, Christ, that made salvation possible for everyone. Hebrews 12 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time." I didn't like almost dying 7 times. I didn't like the pain. But later on, however, it produced a harvest of righteousness. It produces good in our life. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. How much will time be, no matter how long time is, no matter how many thousands of years of human history, how much will that be compared to eternity? Well, you can't get it between my finger and my thumb. Our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. In other words, Candide was right. Voltaire was right in Candide. This is not the best of all possible worlds. But it may be the best way to the best world, since evil has to be permitted to be defeated. You can't stand outside the ring and say, "I'm the greatest. I can beat the champion." You got to get in the ring. God had to permit evil to defeat evil. Permitting evil is necessary to producing higher goods. No courage, no danger. No patience without tribulation. No forgiveness without permitting a sin. First-order evils are necessary to permit in order to produce second-order goods. Now, I'm not saying beat your head on the wall because it feels so good when you stop. That's promoting evil that good may come. What I am saying, though, is permit yourself to go to the dentist chair so it feels so good when he stops. In other words, you permit evil to achieve the greater good, but you never promote evil to do it. This is not the best of all possible worlds, but it's the best way to the best world. You can't get character without adversity. Many locker rooms have the sign, "No pain, no gain." No forgiveness without sin. Now, we don't sin that grace may abound, but grace does abound because sin did occur. The best way to the best world. This is not the best world possible, but God is the best being possible. And the best being possible must accomplish the best end possible. But this world is the best way to the best end, the best world. Therefore, making this world with its evil was the best way to achieve the best world possible. Put it this way. We wouldn't be surprised as Christians if when we met our Master, he said something like this: "I never said it would be easy. I only said it would be worth it." It's not easy, but it is worth it.